Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today is Tuesday. That means that I'm making something from my CD collection. I'm going to be using a random item picker online, and that's going to determine what I'm going to be making today. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing at this point, and no planning has gone into it whatsoever. So let's go ahead and pick a CD from my collection. Alright, so I have my spreadsheet in this tab, and I've already got all of these selected, so I'm going to copy it and bring it over here. And everything has been pasted into here, not posted into here. So now we're going to pick a random item. So this is just going to cycle through all of the different albums that we have. And now it has chosen a winner, and let's see what that winner is. The winner is Illumination. So this is actually a Dan Gibson's Solitudes album, and I'll go over and grab it. Alright, so here is the album right here, and I actually do have a physical CD release of this. It is a little bit on the harder side to find, or at least it was when I was looking for it.
Holy
I was first recommended this on YouTube Music, I think, or I think it was Google Play Music a few years ago. And I love this kind of stuff. It's really, really peaceful to fall asleep to. I listened to it quite a bit, actually, and I didn't actually know the power of this album until I actually got it on CD. So when I got the physical copy, it really the production quality really just blew me away. So, okay, so now we are going to make a poster out of this, and so I'll show you real quickly. Let me get it to where it's not. Okay, so there's the actual album cover itself. I've always loved looking at this album cover because I really don't know where they filmed, where they shot this picture. It could be a set, or I really don't know if it's a real castle or not. But it's just a gorgeous picture. So I love it. I've always loved it. So now what I'm going to do is probably create a poster out of it. I don't think I want to redesign the cover because I love the cover. So let's make some kind of, I don't know, maybe like a promo poster or something like that. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so here I am in Illustrator, and this is kind of our blank canvas, and I've also got one set up in Photoshop. It's just kind of ready to go there. So most of the promo posters that I found tend to be around like 12 by 18, so that's what I'm going to go with. First thing I want to do is find a photo. So let's go over to Unsplash, and I want to look for like a castle image or something like that. Doesn't have to be the exact same type of castle that they have on the cover here, but I'd like to find something that's maybe a little bit similar, or maybe something that's like some castle ruins or something like that. But some of these are really cool. Look at that. There's the Hogwarts castle from Universal in probably Orlando, but it could also be the one in Japan. I don't know. But I've been to the one in Orlando several times. This is a really cool picture. Man, it's huge too. Actually, that would translate very well to our 12 by 18. But I don't want to pick just the first one that I see. Wow, this one is really nice. Look at that. That is a gorgeous, and it's even got the birds flying around. Look at that. That's really cool. All right, I think I'm gonna try this one. So let's go ahead and copy the image and paste it into Photoshop here. And let me just kind of take a look around. I did notice here that there is a road over here on this side, and I think that I might get rid of that. Or what we could do is we could simply just, well, let's move this over here to this side. Let's just kind of center it right here. And then all we have to do really is just enlarge it until we get to about right there. And I'd like to just kind of remove anything that's modern in there. I mean, I know that we've got a lot of stuff going on in here. Or what we could do is bring it down to about right here. Probably not. Okay. I'm thinking that as awesome as this picture is, I'm thinking it might just be a little bit too modern for what we're going for. Although, let me just kind of take a look here. We've got some vehicles in here. Not too much in here. Looks like it's like modern architecture. Like it all looks nice and old and everything, but there are some people walking around. It's not the worst thing ever, but I wish the focus was a little bit more on the sky and the actual castle itself. So I think that I'll probably go back and see if I can find a different image. That one is so cool. Again, it's the Harry Potter one, but it's just such a great image, and they did such a great job on that castle. All right. Oh, there's another picture of St. Michael. Let's see if we can get a. Okay, that's even more modern looking. Although there is a nice focus of the sky, so let's just kind of see if we can drop this in and see what we can do with it. It's pretty cool how we've got that little frame going on there. All right, let's bring this all the way down to about there or so. And there goes my phone. All right. So that one is actually pretty cool. We've got a good focus on the castle, a good focus on the sky. We do have some people in here, but I'm not too worried about that because we can just kind of go in and grab our lasso tool, and let's try a little bit of content aware fill. Not the best job in the world, but it's fine for doing something like, something quick and dirty like this. Nah, that doesn't look good. Okay. All right. You know what? The next one that I pick is going to be... Oh, that's a nice one. Okay, I like this one because it's showing a lot of that architecture there. So let's do this instead. All right, so now this is our final image that we're going to be using, I promise. All right. So we'll go in here and I'll see if there's anything that needs to be taken out. If there's anything like kind of modern looking, like, chairs have been around for a long time, so it's fine. We'll leave the chairs there. That looks like a light. That doesn't look like a drain to me. So I think I will. Let's see if we can do content aware and quickly get rid of it. I don't want to spend too much time on it. Okay, there we go. That's good. Good enough for me. And we'll just kind of smooth over the area real quick. That way it's not too obvious that there was something there and that we took it out. Okay. To the untrained eye, no one would ever look at that and say, hey, there was a drain there or there was something there. All right. And I don't see any people in here, so we are looking good. This kind of reminds me of the cover of the seventh Harry Potter book, another Harry Potter reference, right? Those really cool architecture pieces in the background. All right, so now what we'll do, now that we've got our photo, let's go ahead and make a couple of adjustments to it. I'd like to maybe tone down the saturation a little bit because it is very, very colorful. So maybe tone it down to about -40 or something. And I'd like to try, let's see here, maybe just a few different, maybe like an adjustment layer. Let's do some curves right here and just kind of give it a little bit more of a dramatic look. I'd like to see a good amount of contrast, but not too much, obviously. So we'll bring this down to about here. That looks good. Okay. And then what we'll need to do is, since this is going to be a promo poster, there's going to be text on it. So we need to make sure that whatever we do here, we can read with no problem. So I think I'm going to do a solid color layer of, say, this color right here, not too much saturation, maybe around 50 or something like that, and then 30, and then we'll just use our blending modes to kind of help cover up the photo just a little bit. Let's see what we've got here. Or actually, we may end up, whoa, that's crazy and overblown. Probably end up going with normal right here, and then just kind of doing something like this. maybe 50%. All right. And now what I'll do is let's go in and see if we can actually find Dan Gibson's Solitudes Illumination. There we go. I'm going to see if I can find a good size of the album cover itself. That's looking good. 1200 by 1200. And we'll see if we can. Let's set up a guide layout. I'd like to do maybe 2 inches too much, 1.5 inch. And this is just kind of to constrain a little bit, to keep some of that nice margin that's already there. And let's take a look at that, and maybe we'll go all the way to the guides and just kind of see how that looks. All right, so that's looking pretty cool there. Obviously, we can't go, This is the largest version that's possibly on Google. So this is interesting. Here, someone did something kind of similar, but for a YouTube video, and then they did something here with the castle ruins. There's all kinds of different images that people have used for this, so that's really cool. I like the waterfalls. It all ties together very well. Here's a picture of Jesus right here, the Shroud of Turin, looking good. Yeah, so I think that what we've chosen here for the castle fits very nicely into what other people have done as well. So typically for a poster like this, the album cover itself would actually have some kind of a stroke around it. So let's do that. And I'd like to pick up maybe on this color right here, and then just kind of go a little bit on the lighter side, just to make sure that it stands out against that background. And one thing I forgot to do is adjust the size, but I'm actually pretty happy with that. If I do outside, that's going to make it all curved and everything. I'm not a big fan of that. So if we do center, however, yeah, that also does the curve. I forgot about that. Okay, so we'll just keep it at 25 pixels, and that looks good to me. And I think now let's go ahead and get some typography going on. And I like to start in Illustrator, do my typography there, paste it over into Photoshop, and then apply some effects to kind of make it look a little bit more aged. All right, so we'll say the new album by, let's see, new album by Dan Gibson, Solitudes. If you've never listened to any of the Dan Gibson's Solitudes albums, I highly recommend it because it's fantastic music. It's very well done. What if we did something like Antique, the Caslin Antique Bold? That's looking pretty cool. It kind of gives that little vibe of kind of ruins and everything, so it ties in very well with that with the imagery that we've got. And for something like this, I would say maybe, what if we did like small caps with this one, and then small caps with this one as well. I've always been a big fan of small caps, even going all the way back to my college days. I think I probably use it a little bit too much, but I always enjoy small caps. It's something that I don't really get to do too much of, especially in my industry, because I don't actually work full-time as a graphic designer so much as a web designer. So there's not really too many opportunities where I can do small caps. Let's see. I don't know. It's just not gelling well with me. So I think I'm going to go back to just regular sentence case. Yeah, I gotta undo that too. All right. So now let's bring this to about 70, and then the tracking, or not tracking, the letting right there. We'll just kind of do that. The new album by Gibson, Solitudes. Let's see if we can find a release date for this. Okay, it says 2007. Sounds about right to me, but it's always hard to find release dates for, you know, these albums that are not as well known. It's funny actually, because the release date that I have in my collection. Okay, so 10/9/2007. Okay, so I must have found that at some point, so we'll just go with that. Let's see, the new album by Dan Gibson, Solitudes. Out 10/9/2007. All right, and let's see, is there any information on like the record label or something like that? Because we could find that and then put like their logo on there or something. Let's see, label Solitudes. Okay, all right, so this right here, let's see if I can find Solitudes record label, and we'll click on images there, see if we can find the image of the logo. If not, I can recreate it because I'm pretty sure that's University. Oh, there we go. Okay, looking good there. So we can just drop this into here. And let's see how good of a job we can do with the image trace here. You know, it can always be a little bit iffy, but if you go in and play with some settings, then you're probably in good shape. Just to kind of help clean it up just a little bit, and it'll probably appear nice and small on the poster itself, so it's not. There we go. So we're making this look a lot better than what Live Trace typically does, and I think this is probably around here, around the threshold 160 is probably going to be the best we can do. And then we can just expand it. Use our magic wand, get rid of the white. And then there's our logo. Okay, so let's do this, and it'll probably be, you know, ½ inch or something like that. Let's go ahead and drop that onto here. And we will align this to the bottom right here, just the base. I'm going to align the baseline of the text to this bottom guide. And let me go in and grab this stroke color, and this will be the color of our text when we bring it all in too. Okay, and let's do away with that. It's actually looking good. I do like how it's kind of crossing over into that area a little bit. Let me get some water real quick. But I do like this dramatic, you know, it's almost like it's going right down the center there, the visual center of the logo. Okay, and then let's go in here and grab our text. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it at this size, and then I'm going to go in and make the adjustments, make the sizing adjustments in Photoshop. So obviously it's not going to be that big. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and apply our color overlay, and what I'll probably do here is apply some kind of maybe an outer shadow, or like an outer glow or a drop shadow or something like that, just to make sure that it stays nice and legible against that background. And you can do this in a nice subtle way, so like, you know, bringing your opacity down to about 15%, bringing your spread to about, sometimes you could even do 0, and you know, and your text is just fine. I think 0 or maybe 10, or maybe try 5 or something like that. I'm trying to make it to where it's, you know, it's not so obvious and in your face that there is some kind of effect there. So we'll bring this up to here, and then up to here, and then maybe let's see, maybe 75%. We'll just go 75%. And then this one here where it says out 10907, this can be probably half the width of that. So we will copy these over, both of these effects, and I'm going to be a good designer real quick and name my layers. Solitudes logo, new album, and then release date. I'm just going to say RD for that. All right, so we'll go down to probably 50%. That looks good. So this would be, you know, like a poster that you would see in maybe like a record store or something like that. I don't know how many record stores would be advertising this particular album. Because it's not necessarily what you would call popular music, but there are people that do listen to this, and I am one of them. So, but I listen to everything. Let's see. I think I'm actually going to probably start it down here. That way we can do our spacing down this way and keep it nice and even. That Solitudes logo, now that I'm looking at everything in context, we could probably bring that down to about 50% actually. It's probably a little bit too large. There needs to be a visual hierarchy going on here, so let's make sure that we do that. Yeah, that's looking good. Okay, and one thing that we do need to do as well is we need to add that outer glow to the Solitudes, just to make sure that we maintain that. So this whole thing here is actually giving me some very never-ending story type of vibes. You know, when Atreyu is like toward the end of the movie where he's going through that kind of like the ruins and everything. That it's just a fascinating part of the movie where he's going through the ruins and seeing everything that's happened to him so far. One of my favorite parts of the movie. Very mysterious. I love it. I love mysterious stuff. Okay, so looking good here. The new album, and right here, this would be like, you know, nice and simple and everything. It's got the album cover, the new album by Dan Gibson, Solitudes, out 10907, and one thing that I might try doing before we wrap it up is doing some kind of a gradient where you do something kind of like this, where it gets closer to the bottom, it just kind of gets a little bit darker. And I think we'll change the color of this as well to something a little bit more of the brown side going on there. That way it's not too obvious, but it can be a nice, just a nice little touch. And then for our color fill, bring it down to probably 25%, down from 50 what we had before. So that's looking good. And now I just want to apply a few effects on this text going on here to make it look like, to make it look a little bit more aged, not such clean text, you know. So maybe 1.5 pixels of a Gaussian blur for new album, and then maybe the same here. You want to make sure that you go in and you don't make the same, don't do the same adjustments for each thing, because it, like the smaller it gets, the more blur that you turn up, the harder it is going to be to read that. So 1 pixel would be just fine for the Solitudes logo. And then what we'll do is we'll go in and we'll add a little bit of a grain overlay here. And I'm going to do 50% gray, camera raw filter. And for the grain, I'm going to probably do a little bit heavy. So 75, size and roughness will be about 25. And then I'm definitely going to do a vignette for this. And then we'll change our blending mode to probably overlay and see how that looks. Now what's cool about this is that since we've applied that, you can see that it actually applies to the text as well. And that's not only because of our color, but it's also because of our Gaussian blur. So as you can see here, there's a nice, like it looks like it's bleeding into the paper rather than just text slapped on top of it. And like being completely clean. So it looks so much better like that. It looks a lot more authentic too. So definitely keep that in mind when you're putting together your projects. And then it's also showing through in the album cover itself. But what I think I'm going to do here is add a little bit of a noise here, maybe like between 2 and 5%. I think 5% is a little bit too much, so we'll do 2. And I'll just kind of zoom in a little bit so you can see what that looks like. So, if there's any artifacts that were left over here from enlarging this photo, those are all gone now, or at least they're mostly gone because of adding the noise to it. So here it is. Here is the promo poster for the Dan Gibson's Solitudes Illumination Peaceful Gregorian Chants. So that was a lot of fun putting this together. I do listen to this quite a bit, especially when I'm going to bed at night. It's fantastic to fall asleep to. So, but yeah, this is fun to just kind of slap something together really quickly using Photoshop. So I appreciate you watching. Thanks a lot for watching me create that poster for Dan Gibson's Illumination album. That was fun. I love this album, so it was a really great album to start off this series with. So be sure that you join me on Thursday. On Thursday, I'm going to be switching over to movies, so who knows what I'm going to make a poster for, or if I'm going to do something else based on it. I have no idea. It's all off the cuff. So if you like this video, please make sure that you hit like and subscribe at the bottom, and also click the bell for notifications to be notified of all new content. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.